only. Recording in progress. Yeah. All right. So let's take a look at I think we were here. Hello, brother. Hello, brother.
Hello.
How do I...
Morning.
What is it? Good night over here. Good morning to you. Yeah. Let me what's this? Make okay. Co-host.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Leonidas. Hi, Christopher. Oh, actually, it's great to say this to you guys in person. I do like your comments, Leonidas, and do like your comments, Christopher, about the root phrases.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So let's start. So the last one we were at was at colorless, right? The Sanskrit word, as is often the case in that language, reveals its meaning by its parts. The literal meaning of vairagya is colorlessness. Yeah, I think we explored to the maximum this one. So we will go on to the next passage. Does anyone want to start by reading it? Just one paragraph.
I can.
All right. Thank you.
In our ordinary language, we use colors to suggest mental and emotional states. We see red when we are angry and blue when we are depressed. View the world through the rose-colored glasses, are green with envy, are in the black mood, or in the brown funk, and so on. I've never heard brown funk before. The emotional colors through which we look at the world distort our view of reality. If we are to see the world and see it whole, we must take off our colored glasses. We must dispense with the moods that cloud our perception, and we must practice vairagya. We must lead an uncolored, that is, a clean life.
Thank you. All right. So here we have a paragraph that wonderfully describes emotions and its corresponding colors. But here I have a question, right? Here we must take off our colored glasses. Where did these colored glasses come from? Okay, Leo.
I think that the color classes, that the glasses that we wear, the way that we see the world, comes from our own fair share of karma. So because of our own fair share of karma, we are born in a specific family, in a specific nation, specific backgrounds, the way our parents raise us, and then the way that we learn from them, and then the school that we go to, the people that we know, the workplace that we go to, all of this is kind of like a conditioning built into our own lenses through which we see the life.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I think she already said it. Like, this is conditioning also not only for like for a previous baggage or something that has been there, like that we don't even know. Like, one of the things are that we have like collected this life around us, but also if you have like strongly have some influences previously, then this comes out. So yeah, and we have collected this this color in these classes long time, and now we are, I think, in this stage of evolution, what we must do is get them back to transparent. This is, I think, one of our main aims.
Yeah, I just want to add one more comments. On a higher scale, of course, our conditionings is from our past life karmas, our karma as a whole, as a soul. But maybe on a lower level, or at least on a physical plane, the color classes are actually our emotions. So sometimes we do something out of our emotions. We reacting to something rather than we are responding to something. And because those kind of action are born due to the emotions. So I think that if we do know about the astral body, the emotional body is of colors. So maybe the color here can be looked at as emotions.
Thank you. So now here the thing is, when we say that we are colored, we have colored perspectives, it seems like we will be involuntarily reacting, right? We behave in ways that is so-called involuntary, right? Because of the habits and conditionings. So here there is a part on the last line. We must lead an uncolored, so to speak, life, right? Why would a clean life be uncolored? Why would a clean life be uncolored? Please.
Based from the context of this paragraph, I would agree with Leota. So if you're angry, the color of your astral body is red, and sometimes you view things like everyone's against me and I have to be on the defensive because everybody is against me. Or if, for example, if I'm depressed, I feel everything is so sad, everything is so depressing, everything is so it's so terrible. But if I'm so happy, I'm so elated, I'm looking at the world from rose-colored glasses, it's like everything is so happy. Even if it floods, even if there's an earthquake, everything is just so happy. So I think Theosophy is teaching us to look at things as they are, not as half empty or as half full, but to look at things as they are, because we're looking for truth. And as long as there's colors that are clouding our judgment, we can't really perceive truth as it is. We'll always see things from the perspective of our own self, of our own ego. Of course, it's easier said than done, right? We're all in the process, but uh, we can start slowly, day by day, by meditating, reflecting, processing our emotions.
Wow, thank you, Chris. So here comes a question. You see, a lot of us, when we think about, we are being asked about the meaning of life, right? I think some of the most common question would be, common answer would be, I just want to live a happy life. Or I hope that every day I will be happier. But does happy actually means uncolored? No, right? I think Chris, you mentioned like rose-colored glasses, right? Everything can be really, really, really beautiful in times of disasters. So what does uncolored actually means? And why would uncolored view of reality equate to clean life? Okay. No.
I think that the uncolor as a clean life, at least to me, is a life that when you have no desire. I mean, the desire here is like the desire for my lower self. Like I want to have a big house, I want to have a car, I want to have more money, I want to be successful, I want to be someone important. And I remember one of the saying that I really like, that the person with with no desire is the strongest person, because nobody can actually buy him. So if there's no desire, which means there's no, like, it's a clean life, uncolored, no desire. So maybe we can live, as Chris say, as just live life itself, rather than running for something that belongs to the lower self-desire.
All right, Chris.
I think there's also different levels of happiness. So like there are people who are happy because they're able to fulfill their desires. But Theosophy teaches us that if we're after this level of happiness, it will always be transitory. So for example, I want a brand new car. If I get it, I'm happy. If I don't get it, I'm sad. I want the latest model of the latest mobile phone. If I get it, I'm happy. If I don't get it, I'm not happy. And even if I get the latest model, once the newest model comes up again, then I become unhappy once again. So I think there is different levels. Like the happiness of a person who has achieved their desire is different from a person, from a parent who saw their child happy. It's at the level of joy, if that's at least of the esoteric writers would call it. And then there's a different level of happiness also from a mystic who was able to achieve like clarity or insight, and another one who was able to achieve that state of oneness. And I guess Theosophy being the ideal teaching that it is, it's always telling us, there's something more, and we should try to reach as high as we can so that our happiness is not just transitory.
Mm, very well said. Thank you, Chris. Leo?
That remembering from physics that white is the combination of all colors, I guess it is kind of like the difference between happy in this case when it is rose color is that the glasses itself absorb the happiness and then it reacts to the happiness. As versus to what I understand, the being happy in theosophical terms is that allowing all of the emotion to pass through and be happy nevertheless. So I guess it is the same word, but it means very differently somehow. It is more of not happiness in theosophical terms. It seems to me like it to actually I don't know, but it's something like that. That is not reacting. There is nothing of my lower being that reacts to whatever that comes through, and that is happiness, because nothing can disturb me.
Thank you, Leo. I think in Buddhist terms there are words like blissfulness or pure bliss, right? Or just in a state of peace or in a state of pure consciousness. I think there are terms like that. But we don't really use it like happiness, because I think like what Chris says, there are so many different levels and ways of experiencing uh happiness. It could be in the form of ecstasy as well. There's so many different levels. I think we haven't really talked about this. Why would an uncolored life be a clean life? And can a clean life be an uncolored life? Let's think about it.
If I think about it, remember, the universal prayer we have that starts you have life in every atom, in every cell, and I think, and you have light in each creature. I think this light is uncolored in that sense, that life is like above the colors, because if you think about colors, there's something somewhere in electromagnetic spectrum, there's a small range where the colors are, but actually this is something like life is maybe it could be in that spectrum, but it's like something beyond. In that sense, it's beyond what we can
Visible
perceive as a
light.
color. Yeah, this is one of the things that I think this is something more, because it's not only this one level. The life is like in many levels, and it's like transcending the color in that sense.
Mm. Thank you. Leonidas?
Oh, when Marike said that, it kind of clicked to me that it's like, if our lens is colored, then we won't be able to see that hidden light, but we see all of the lights that is everywhere else, everything else, like the emotions and everything. But this exactly that our lens needs to be colorless, such that we can see through as far as that hidden light that is within everyone, and that
Thank you.
is constituted clean life in that sense.
Mm. I think it reminds me of a paragraph from the book Light on the Masters and the Path. I think they were talking about how the masters, it's not really about blocking out all the negative emotions or colors that represents negative emotions, right? Or negative expressions. The masters let the color pass through them, right? There's a passage that I'm not saying directly what it is, but it's like paraphrasing, that they will actually perceive the colors as it is, not rejecting or whatever. And if we really think about this, like colored lens, what does it actually mean, right? It actually absorbs the rest of the colors. It absorbs one color and absorbs the rest of the color and reflects the only one that is actual
Reflects the
color.
one color. Yeah.
Reflects what? Reflects the one color, right?
Reflects the
Actually,
one color. Yeah.
yeah. So the thing is, there is some kind of taking in, right? There's some kind of reflection as well. We are not really letting it purely pass through, like 100% pass through. Right. Oh, Chris.
I think going back to the analogy by Lyotard, that the colors might be the emotions within the astral body. So sometimes we envision the monad or the divine spark as within. Sometimes we envision it as above. Of course, we understand that these are just models. It's not really within, or it's something outside of us. But I think I'm using that model. We can also see that the astral body, if there's no color, it becomes transparent. So the light of the higher self and the monad can be seen clearly because nothing is blocking it anymore. Even if the color of the astral body is pink because we're cheerful, it's still somehow distorting the color of the inner monad. So perhaps that's also kind of a way that, because it's clean, there's nothing, there's no color, everything is transparent, we can see the inner divinity, the inner or higher divinity clearly because nothing is distorting it anymore.
Thank you. I think Tayo also mentions here in the chat, any kind of colored lens is a distortion of reality, so to speak. Okay, Marike.
Yes. Something that goes with what Christopher just said, and also what Kaio just mentioned, distortion. Every time I saw Chris, I'm not every time, but often and if you talked about colors, I'm thinking about the 7 rays, and it just came to me again. They say that master have mastered all the rays. Like if needed, they're able to, like if needed to work in another ray, they are able to do it. That they have 100% everything. And if you put together all the colors, you got like white light, or like let's say that the best light. So I think this is also, we must to practice. Maybe it's not that we must purify the color. Maybe it's we have to evolve all the other colors as well. So it will become clear. Maybe it's not getting rid of it. Maybe it's like understanding like better all the different aspects. Like this was one of the thoughts. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Harry. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah. For once, my laptop is muted. But no, when we talk about karma, and for me, I always think of karma as the programming that we have gone through. I won't say it's this life or past life or whatever, but I think it's the certain programming. Like it's like a computer code. Like there's a certain algorithm. You put whatever numbers or something, it only goes through a certain pattern and comes out. So I think I look at karma as a programming, a pattern that we have picked up, or it could be from where we grew up, or it could be from the past, or whatever. And when I think it talks about colored lenses, I think it's that sometimes when we have the world, I think is colored. When they say the colored lenses, sometimes we come with our own the pattern. The pattern which I come from, the pattern somebody else comes from. So we come with our own colored lenses, and we a lot of times try to look at the other person, like, assume, or like, we start looking at the world from our own biases, our own expectations, our own definitions and things like that. So I think then we start thinking of, oh, this is what the color is supposed to be. Like, why is this person's color different? And that is when this whole thing comes up. So when it says a coloredless life is a clean life, if I stated it wrong, sorry, right? I think it means when I think also the whole process of this thing with karma is trying to detach ourselves from the patterns as much as possible, trying to detach ourselves from all this programming as much as possible. Because even in Hinduism, we always talk about, and I refer to Hinduism because karma is a Hindu concept, like that was where it comes from. So all the sages, everyone, they talk about burning the karma, like being freed of karma, being freed of this. So for me, it is when our glasses are lesser and lesser colored, I think we start seeing what the colors truly are of the world. Like we start looking at reality the way it is, and not processing the stimuli through our algorithm. Again, I love calling it algorithm. But yeah, so that is what I think. So when it means colorless in a very practical way, I think we stop looking at everything from our own patterns, and we just look at things for what they are. And it could be sadness, it could be tragedy, it could be happiness, it could be anything, because the world is not only a happy place. Like sometimes there could be tragedy happening, like real life horrors. So we can't look at that and say, oh, what is the good thing that I bring out of this, or what is the happiness I seek of this, or something. No, sometimes tragedy is tragedy, sometimes a color is what it is. So I think it's more about how we look at the world and how we uncondition ourselves. And I love that word that keeps coming up in Hinduism, how we keep burning our own patterns. And again, in the terminology of the author, the colored lenses we come to everything with.
Thank you. It's well said. Anyone else? Oh,
How do you operate? Sorry, I don't know how to raise the hand. I'm using my phone. Is it in reactions?
please.
Where is it?
Yeah, react.
Okay.
It's under the
In
heart.
reactions.
Okay. Uh, oh, Abhinav. Hello, Abhinav.
Yes, Abhinav.
So what was I saying? Yeah, how do you operate colorlessly? I somehow feel that's almost impossible. Well, or I can't imagine it. For example, let's take something that we've been kind of discussing. Yeah, how do you increase youth engagement in our organization? How do you approach that colorlessly, which I assume means without a certain desire that's driving you. Approach that objectively. Or let's say, like Hari mentioned, let's say there's a war going on. How do you react to such a thing colorlessly? More so if, say, your country, I'm just taking extreme hypotheticals, your country is being attacked. How do you approach such a situation colorlessly? Or even day-to-day living, you have to make a living. You have to, okay, you can set some limits. I buy a phone. I don't need to buy the next, upgraded model immediately. I can wait 10 years and buy the next phone when my phone is literally dead. Is that how you approach life? I mean, do I not seek a promotion in my job? Do I not seek an increment in my salary to support, my increasing family? How do you guys see this?
Wait, so Mary Kay, Leonardus, and Chris, are you all going to answer Vignesh' question? If
Vignesh
yes,
put like
then
10
in
questions
that
in
order,
a
okay.
row. Yeah, he putting like 10 questions in a row. Like ask one or
Just
two.
take one example.
No. I have like too many things going on in my head. You ask colorlessly. Like I said, like Leota says, very much colors are connected with emotions. And like I said, I think colorlessly can take things master or somebody who is above, who sees very clearly what is the situation, like Harry says, without distortion, and who sees what's need to be done. Since we do not have it, we have those patterns that we have learned, and we are using these patterns or this color like a post. This is like a tool that we are using in a best possible way we can. But I can, like, if you try to understand how to do something colorlessly, then try to think what is good in a bigger picture, not my personal thing, like, but in a bigger picture. Like you ask about how to get young members. If you can cut off your personal emotions connected to that and just try out, regardless how it comes out, or like you give your very best and you don't put the emotions behind it. And you have like, if there's a war going on in your country, like I think masters are working. So after the war is already here. This is consequences of some past karma. We cannot change that, it's already happening. But what they are working is that after war, those people who are fighting with each other will be one day again like brothers. Like for Russia and Ukraine, I have family members in both countries, and I can see how the children are getting together, how well they can, actually their language is so similar. Without learning, they can understand each other, just like they should be brothers, and something is going on. But and I think the main work is colorlessly is like you see the bigger picture behind it, and you approach that, not this thing that is going on only for now. Like you work.
No, so bigger picture, whatever it is, I'm saying to 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 have an objective and to work towards it, there is a certain element of desire, whether it's selfish or unselfish. There is a desire, and where there is desire, I imagine there is a color.
No, I think
No?
masters don't have, if it's an unselfish desire, it is colorless for my perspective, because I think masters have, okay, they have their own way, but they are working like closer to colorless than like closer. Yeah, that's actually a good question. Maybe it is impossible to be totally colorless in this realm, but we are aiming towards that.
I think
yeah.
I think that Vignesh said it is true. Like even when we do something good, even for bigger picture, there could be like your microphone. There could be like a little bit maybe if someone is very pure, but there's still maybe a little bit of selfish desire in there. So I think that at least for me, it may work for me, it may not work for somebody else, but I'll just share. I think that I will start at the very small scale before I look to the bigger picture. So when I start at a smaller scale, I look at myself. What is my motive? If the motive is selfishness, then actually there's a term that they use in the theosophical classical teachings. They call spiritual will or aspiration. But if the motive is selfish, then you may call it desire. But I think that at least for my level of understanding or my stage of consciousness evolution, whatever I do, my motive, I cannot say is 100% pure. There will be tinted of selfishness in there. It's just up to me whether I realize it or not. So let's say, for the last couple of months, I had to let go one of my businesses because I realized that I set up that business just for one motive, to make more money. And I don't think that it is what I want to go for, and I let it go. So I think the very first step is to look within, find out about a motive, and then you take actions from there. Like that's the very small step that we can do. And if we say that, okay, I want to do bigger things for the, for the world, I want to think about the big picture, but even ourselves, we cannot sort things within ourselves, then it's going to be really hard when we work together in an organization. There will be, a lot of things for us to work on as well. So I think each of us, if we could start from ourselves, that will be way easier to get the work done.
Thank you. Neil, next. You're next.
Yeah. To add on the top on that, I think one of the first step is not to change the question about from how do I feel into what is emotionally going on around me. Because then, rather than thinking about how I feel, which changes all the time, it is to see what is like when watching a movie or when something emotional is going on, to recognize what is the emotion of the situation that's going on rather than my own, and then interact that way. So there's a step towards having my emotion to be less colored in that sense. Yeah.
Thank you. Chris, and then Harry.
Okay. So this is my understanding of how Theosophy and the Ageless Wisdom would advise us to develop it. But I, of course, like what Leota and the others mentioned, I haven't developed it as well. But my understanding is that from Light on the Path, we are told that we have to work as though we are the most ambitious person, but at the same time, we have to kill out ambition. And for me, this is the essence of karma yoga. So this means that we have to have an intellectual understanding or an understanding that everything that happens to us is the result of karma. And everything that we do will generate a new karma for us. So everything that's happening to us is already the result of karma. However, because karma has placed us in a particular situation, we have to do our very best to do what it is. But whether it turns out favorably or unfavorably, it's in the hands of karma. So, for example, my favorite example here would be, for example, I'm a nurse. If a patient was brought under my care, whether that patient survives or not is in the hands of karma. But because I was the nurse, or karma has brought that patient under my care, I have a duty to do my very best to care for that patient. Whether he survives or not, it's still in the hands of karma. So that is how I would try to develop it. So I would always think that, you know, everything is in the hands of karma. but I still have to do my very best. So if I have a family, if I have to send my child to school, I have to do my very best to be a father. I have to send him to the best school that I can afford. I have to mentor him to the best that I can. But whether he turns out to be a good person or a bad person, it depends on their karma. I have to be able to let him grow on his own, because he is a human being on his own right, and he has his own karma, and I have my own karma that I have to deal with. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Hari.
Chris put it so beautifully, because that was something I was intending to say also. And in the line of what Vignesh asked, going back to, again, the earliest references of karma and the words, going back to Bhagavad Gita, a lot of times what happens is, again, like Vignesh brought up, me wanting something, is it selfishness? Is it not some kind of intention or desire? And when Arjuna, to whom Krishna, propagated the Bhagavad Gita, this happened in the middle of a battlefield. Like, there were two sides, there was this battle happening. And then Arjuna at one point falls on his knees. He's like, why should we do this? I have my teachers on the other side. I have my gurus on the other side. I have half family on the other side. Why is all of this needed? I can't do this. Then the first one of the, and then Krishna, in a way, like, that's when he tells him, no, like, you have to do your action. So a lot of times karma doesn't necessarily mean inaction. So I think, I would like to read this one quote. It says, karmane vadikaraste ma phalestu kadachana. So it means you have the right to work, but never to be attached to the fruits of the work. So I think, yes, when I'm making movies, I am going with the intention of reaching to the most number of people I can, to make the best movie I can, to be the biggest blockbuster of that summer. Yes, absolutely. I'm sure when Messi is going onto the field, he is going there to be the best. So I think I think what this speaks more about is, yes, the intention. With the right intention and a goal, we have to do our action to our best abilities, like Christopher also put up, but not attached. So if my movie is a success or not a success, my emotions being dependent on, is it working, not working, or how is the world looking at it, or what is the result? So I think the detachment mostly occurs in our attachment towards the result rather than the action. With the action, I personally feel you have to be attached. You need to have that kind of intention. It could be, for example, Madam Blavatsky, a woman from Ukraine in mid 19th century. Just it gives me goosebumps just thinking about her intention, to set out from there to spread this message. So I'm sure she was giving her best at every single moment, like, but I'm sure she was not attached to the fruits of her work. So I think our detachment, yes, I will give my best, I work for that promotion, but I'm not attached to, am I getting that promotion or I'm not getting that promotion.
Thank you, Hari. I think these are really, really good points, right? Especially the point that Hari and Chris made, which actually goes to the point. Okay, I only can remember what the light of the past say. Okay, Hari, I think your quote I cannot remember. But the thing is, when to work as those who are ambitious but kill out all ambitions, I think that one is very important, especially in the work in the TS, right? I think like Vignesh, I think your question really pertains to the work of the TS. Is that right? Hey, you mute yourself.
Not necessarily to life.
Okay.
It need not matter to just us members. This is relevant for anyone, right?
Yes. So no,
yeah,
wait.
complete.
So there are two things, right? You have the part where you can get returns, right? Conditional work. You get paid for money, right? That is daily life. And then you have work that you do that is voluntary. So this is where I realized there are differences. When we work for money, we may get stressed because you're going to get paid. There will be expectations and things like that. There's a transaction, there's an exchange. But when we are looking at volunteering, it seems like volunteering, everyone has an expectation that it has to be unconditional, right? You shouldn't be asking for anything else because you are giving, right? That's what volunteering means, right? At least to how I define it. And the thing is, to see if we actually be able to live a clean life, but yet at the same time being able to take action. I think that's a very tricky business. You know, there's someone that I also asked me before when I had a workshop in Singapore. He asked, you see, if we are not encouraging gambling, we are not encouraging any kind of speculative career. For example, day trading or investments. Okay, not really investment, like day trading is a little bit more towards guessing or gambling. Is that a good livelihood as someone that is practicing a spiritual path? I think then the best answer came up, from the workshop was you you can do it until you feel that it is not working out for you anymore. That means it's affecting your life, your purity of life. I think that also goes back to last time we talked about, remember the guy that fishing in the Arctic Circle, the one fisherman only, right? Yes, you want to have a livelihood. If your time is really up for you to leave the town, to change a different life, you will. And someone else somehow will just appear and take up that livelihood for you, right? And the thing is, I think back to also what Medicaid was mentioning about the masters. The thing about this, right, with respect to the war or conflicts all around the world, with respect to all the very real problems, for example, for hunger, and there's so much more, right? If we actually think about the masters who already have a clean life, right? They are already living a clean life, right? Theoretically speaking, they are perfected men, right? They are living a clean life. So what we can think is, what are they doing about this? Are they actually going out marching in the streets? Maybe not, because that's not what they are meant to do. That's not their dharma. But there will be people that are meant to do that. But it doesn't mean that they have to have a clean life. But all of us are actually approximating to, or at least converging to a clean life as we are going around the mountain, right? I think that's the illustration usually given for the path, right? With the capital P, going up the mountain. But there are those that actually aspire, right? We don't use too much of the word desire. We can, right? I think the tricky question as well, when I was in my Buddhist, the Dharma class, the student asked, hey, teacher, you say to be enlightened, all of us in the class, all of us desire to have enlightenment. So does it actually mean that we can never be because we desire enlightenment? So teacher say, well, it will come to a point of time that your true nature will be in line with what the universe is, to the point that whatever you do is not motivated by any kind of desire, but everything that you do is with alignment to what life is supposed to be, like in the most high sense. So our actions will not be driven because of our desire, but because it is the only way of living. So that's my take. Thank you. Okay, Yongmi, back to you.
I'm just digesting that. No, even okay, this is tricky. Even pursuing this ideal life, or life as it should be, that is, in a sense, driven by a desire or a motivation. So I'm still okay. So thinking about the statement
Mm. So you see,
since we read it, I feel
desire,
like yeah. Go on.
we can't really remove desire right away. But
Yeah.
if not, we straight away become the Mahamas, Even all the
Yeah.
different early degrees of initiates, they also still have colors, right?
Right.
So
So what I feel like a colorless life might mean is embracing all the colors, For instance, what Merike was saying, that all the 7 rays have their own colors and therefore they have their own importance. And to master the 7 rays is to master the 7 colors, in a sense. So in a way, it might mean to embrace the colors, or even to master them in the sense that you are not consumed by them. So you have a certain sense of detachment, and you have a certain sense of awareness, and you have a certain sense of appreciation for each ray or each color, and in a sense you are not swept away, let's say. So even to
Mm.
act, say, I would say even anger as an emotion is valuable, because sometimes in certain moments anger is something that I could be completely wrong, okay, but anger is something that drives people to correct things, that correct some wrongs, or pursue justice, and then you
Mm.
let go of the anger when you are supposed to let it go. You don't let it consume you. You don't let it sweep you away into going overboard with your actions,
Mm.
or with vengeance, for example,
Mm.
or you stop at justice and you don't go beyond justice. Something
Mm.
nice. So, in a sense, colorlessness is juggling all the colors without really attaching yourself to anything.
Mm.
That's probably what I'm taking away, in a sense.
Mm. Thank you. I think it's quite well put. You see, the thing is, we can't really run away from our own desires, okay, attachments or any colors, however we want to say it. But here we are in, let's say, on the path, okay? We don't say in which path, right? On the path. I think what we actually have committed ourselves to on any path is such that we are more aware of all our actions, right, in the forms of feeling, not just talking, or physical action, feelings and our thoughts, such that we don't create more, as what Chris says, right? We are actually reacting or working on the things that has been dealt to us because of our past karma. And then the key here only is, what are we doing to ensure there isn't a net positive of karma? You want to reduce it, you don't want to keep contributing to it. I think that's the thing about the path. It's any path, okay, in general. Okay, Hari.
I think adding on to what Vignesh was saying, maybe at the end of the day, it's about the intention. What separates good action and a colored act. I mean, however we term it, like a colored action or an uncolored action, or a good action or a bad action. I think what separates it is the intention. Maybe again, I'm giving examples from my personal life, because that is what is closest to me. Somebody could make a movie for the wrong reasons, with the intention could be something else, like, the intention could be, like too much attached to the results, like materialistic, or the money, or like the fame or something. And then at the
Mm.
same time, the same movie, somebody could be making it with an intention of, like, to really want to say something to people, or, to really bring some awareness or change or something. And then I again say intention, because if we look at a situation like war, and yes, there could be one person fighting the same war, but the intention of just hatred. And at the same time, there could be one person, for example, I'll give you an example of what happened at the end of World War. Yes, on one hand we had soldiers who were pushing forward out of hatred. At the same time, we had the allied forces who were risking everything, crossing from all frontiers, landing in Normandy and fighting, because their intention was to liberate innocent people from the perpetrators. So again, both were fighting the war, both were doing an action which is the same, like picking up the guns and, fighting and killing other people. But I think, again, this was what I guess Krishna's thing also in Bhagavad Gita. It is the war was happening on both sides. Like, people were killing people on the both sides. But he takes the side of Arjuna and Pandavas, because he feels the intention why they have gone to the war is is correct, like, so that makes their action valid. So yeah, I guess, I mean, in our real lives, we cannot, this is the closest I think we can get to, we cannot be completely colorless. Like Vignesh said, we cannot do certain things. We cannot move forward without having some kind of a goal or some kind of a desire or something like that. But I think at least something what we can do in our own lives, like practical lives, is maybe see if our intention is right. Are we attached too much to the fruits, or maybe step by step, just I mean, the goal is always to move one step forward than we were yesterday. So maybe it'll take us a long time, but I feel it's all about the intention, because sometimes the same action can be wrong action and the same action can be a good action. So I think it's the intention of the person who is doing it.
I think this is a good point. I think it reminded me of a passage as well from, I think it's key to theosophy. It might be. It's talking about karma in a sense of the outcome versus the intent. Right. So there was a guy that was very rich, right? I think he's some politician or what. And because he wants to gain popularity, he built a park in the city. But his intent was actually he wants popularity, the material desire. But regardless of that, after he passed away or whatever, the people of the city still enjoys the fruits of the park. Right. So there is some kind of good karma there. But internally for himself, it's not really a good karma because his intent was selfish. Right. And also I think same thing. My Buddhist class also, okay. One of the students, they always like to ask questions. He asked, so if there is a pest that come into my house, or like mosquito, dengue mosquitoes or cockroaches come to my house, should I kill them? The student asked the nun, my teacher. And the nun said, if you ask me, don't kill. But it depends on your intent. If the dengue mosquito is very dangerous, it might cause harm or death in your family, then you have to be fully conscious of the karma that you are going to take on by killing it. It's not that you can't. But whatever it is, we must be fully conscious of our actions, regardless of it turning out to be evil or good. So that is like pure awareness or awareness or consciousness or mindfulness in that sense. Yeah.
I just want to clarify Francis' example in the Key of Theosophy, that the rich guy builds a park in the city for popularity, like for a selfish intent. So there actually two things happened. Because of the park, a lot of people enjoy the park. So he get good karma in a materialistic sense. However, internally, like in his inner life or emotionally, he's still suffering. So the karma will just, pay just exactly enough to where your intent is.
Leo, last point, Leo. This is just our hand, right?
Yeah, and I guess based on what Francis just mentioned, based on the response to everyone, it seems that at this point of time, because our lens are not colorless yet, the at the very least, the attempt that we can do is to be aware of what is that color that appears on my lens currently in this situation, and from that awareness try to purify that a little bit, like take it off and then really just clean it a little bit, and then a little bit color, a little bit less color every single time, and then sometime we will reach that.
Yeah, very well said. And I think it's a lot of times we will be thrown with life will throw stuff at us such that we can't really be there calmly cleaning the lens. But we have to really be mindful. That's part of the practice anyways.
Yeah.
Chris, you have any?
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to agree with what Leota said. I'm not sure. I think what you mentioned was key to Theosophy, but I think I also read it in Ancient Wisdom by Annie Besant. So,
It could be that.
yeah,
I
Annie
remind. I
Besant.
mean,
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, I remember she mentioned that karma is always reaped at the same level as it was sown, like what Leota mentioned. So, like if
Mm.
I donated something physically in the next life, I might be born rich, and then but because I had the wrong intention for donating, so I won't feel the emotional happiness of that. And when I first read that, I was thinking, so that's why there are millionaires who kill themselves. There are people who become like famous artists and they become so famous, but they're still not happy. And then I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But like what Harry and Vignesh mentioned, this development of the colorlessness is not easy. The first time I was able to be aware of this for myself was way back in college, because I remember in college, I lost my phone. I think it was stolen or something. So to most people, they say that I'm not exactly coming from a poorer family, so I could just ask my parents to buy me a new one. But because I earned that phone, I worked hard to get that phone. I had an emotional attachment to it, even though intellectually I was thinking, I shouldn't be attached, but emotionally it was still there. It was still attached there. And I guess that's also what Leo was mentioning. It's very important that we're able to detach like mentally, and we're able to have that awareness that I should not be overwhelmed by this emotion. I should be able to step back. And then Theosophy teaches us how to process these emotions. So if a normal person would like take an entire day to be depressed, we have the tools to actually be more aware to process the emotions. So it probably would take us less time to make our emotions less colored compared to another person. And if another person was suffering, we have the tools that can help them, not just intellectually, but we can also counsel them, we can help them process, and in a way that because we're saying that karma is also a Hindu concept, but it's also a Christian concept, because in Christianity, we also mention to do your best and let God do the rest. So if we think like Blavatsky, that God is not an old man that sits up in heaven looking down at us, but it's an abstract concept, we can say that karma is an aspect of God. So
mm,
we're able to do something better. Our best has expanded a little bit because of what we know about Theosophy. And because of that, we're able to do more good, and we're able to reap more good, not just for ourselves, but as well as for others.
well said. Very well said. So, Hari, do you want to have the last point? Just now you raised hand.
Oh yes, something again. Last night, Kayo is here, so Kayo, we're discussing. Again, talking about the intention. What's happening a lot nowadays is, if you look at the number of people who post and talk about, because we were talking about the wars that are happening. What can people who are not exactly directly involved do? Like, and then we were talking about how a lot of people talk about it or post about it. But that's when the topic came. It has become a trend nowadays where some people once in a while put a story on Instagram just because they think that's the trend of the day, or five posts are just whatever I'm doing, I'm enjoying at the beach, I'm having my safe life. But then they're like, oh, let me also put one post about, one video about a starving child in Gaza. So, I think it's the same thing. Like, the thing is, yes, there is one person who's probably doing it with the right intention. Like, I really want to post this on social media because I want to share, I want to bring the attention of people to this starving child in Gaza. But for somebody, it's the same video I'm talking about. So somebody could be sharing it just with the intention that, it's this common trend that once in a while, if I say something of Gaza, it's acceptable, it's kind of people would think I'm I'm concerned and things like that. So and again, I just said it because this was something we were talking about last night, how intention makes the whole difference for the same action or for the same a word or for anything.
Well said. Oh, that's a good closing statement. Intention is everything. Okay, very good. All right, so let's have 1 minute. Oh no, let's have a universal prayer invocation, invocation, and then we have 1 minute of silence. Is the we'll just say it, okay? You don't have to repeat after me. We just say it. Okay. Oh, hidden life, vibrant in every atom. Oh, hidden light, shining in every creature. Oh, hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May all who feel themselves as one with thee know they are therefore one with every other. Right, thank you everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you all,
everyone.
brothers and sisters.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In case we don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and a good night.
Good night.
True man show.
But hopefully we
감사합니다.
can see you in 1 hour.
Yes.
1
Bye,
hour, I
guys.
think need to sleep. Hey,
I'll
see you
just
guys.
switch to the Philippines section. Bye.
All right.
See you in 1
Okay,
hour.
bye. See ya, see ya.